Soil blocking. A lot of you have turned to this method of seed starting over the years, and it's actually growing in popularity by the year. It's a great seed starting method, but in today's video, I wanted to talk about the pros and the cons of using a soil blocker, just to talk all about it, kind of bring some awareness to it, but also help troubleshoot some things that can come from using a soil blocker when you're seed starting. So I hope you guys are gonna enjoy. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Buckle up. Let's get seed starting. So we just made up our seed starting mix here for making our soil blocks, and you want it to be a little bit more dense. Dense seed starting mix can sometimes have some negative side effects. So one of the negative side effects that can come from soil blocking is that the mix required, because you have to make a block of soil, is it can tend to be a little bit dense. And so this is something that you're gonna find a sweet spot. You don't want it to be too dense, you don't want it to be a concrete block, but you also don't want it to be a super loose, fluffy seed starting mix because it just won't hold together. You really won't be able to make a block with it. So what I find is I add a little bit of potting mix or raised bed mix out that you can get at any store, and I mix that in with a seed starting mix. So you have the loose airiness, the perlite, and the fluffiness of a seed starting mix with some of the density that can come from like a potting mix. And that's what you want, because you want it to be a little bit dense so you can make a block of soil with it. And so what we're doing, and you also want to be able to squeeze water out. So when you prep it, you should have it wet enough to where you can squeeze some water out of it, because that's going to allow you to compress it into a nice block. We're going to take our MIgardener soil blocker. This is our own line of soil blockers. We worked with a manufacturer to build one that we really liked, we enjoyed. We're pressing this down and just kind of smashing and taking that seed starting mix. We're smashing it and twisting it and grinding it to compress it into a block so that we have a block just like that. Check it out, it's awesome. So then we're gonna take it over to our tray. We're gonna push down on the handle, we're gonna push down on the top handle and pull up simultaneously with the bottom handle, just like that. That's gonna give us a beautiful block of soil. Look at that. That is absolutely incredible. And so now you have this dense block of seed starting mix that you can start your seeds in, and it's going to hold together, which is great. So now we're going to talk about a benefit of soil blocking. Yes, it's a little dense, for sure. But a benefit, and this is probably the biggest benefit of all, is that they air prune roots. We talk about how air pruning roots is so important because it actually builds a more fibrous, robust root system. When the plant roots are growing, they're going to grow down into the soil block. And as they grow out, they're going to reach this air barrier, because there's really no pot that they're in. That air barrier is going to tell the roots, whoa, I can't grow there, because roots don't like air. So it's going to kill off, it's going to terminate that root tip, that root fiber. And what it's going to do is it's not just going to die, it's going to die back and fork. And then that actually creates two roots where there was originally one. And then those two roots are going to go somewhere else, navigating through the block. And then when they reach another air gap, basically that boundary there, they're going to die, they're going to fork, and those two now turn into 4, which turn into 16. It's this amazing multiplication effect, and you end up with this incredibly fibrous, robust root system, which leads to a far healthier plant in the long run. The second benefit that comes from making soil blocks is the fact that you're going plastic free. You can, I have this in a plastic tray, but you can put this in a little wooden crate or whatever you have to hold your blocks. And it is great because it allows you to go plastic free if you'd like to. I know a lot of people are trying to reduce plastic in their life, and soil blocking allows you to do that because, again, there's no pot. The soil is the pot. And so it's really awesome in that regard as well. Now, a con that can come from soil blocking, we talked about some of the benefits, but a con is that soil blocks don't really work well for plants that stay in here a long period of time. I know that there are people out there that will say, yeah, I've tried it with tomatoes and it worked great. Yeah, I've tried it with peppers and it worked great. Plants that you start inside for a long period of time, we got tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that behind us, onions. It doesn't work great for plants, in my experience at least. It does not work great for plants that grow for a long period of time. And why is that? Well, because over time, these blocks do begin to soften and break down. After all, there's nothing holding them together other than just pressure. And as the roots start to move through the block, as you water them from down below or from up above, that soil begins to break down. And ultimately, you're kind of left with a bit of a tray of soil, if you will. Those blocks kind of break down enough over time to where I prefer to start seeds like my leafy greens, my broccoli, plants that don't really stay in here a long time. They might only be in the grow room for 2 to 4 weeks, maybe, at most 4 weeks. So I'm starting lettuce, I'm starting broccoli, I'm starting cabbage, I'm starting kale. I could start a ton of my really quick growing crops that are growing in here just to give them a head start, and then they're going outside. Those are ones that I find excel in soil blocks. Those are ones that do really well. But I do find that if you're trying to grow something like a tomato or a pepper and you're growing indoors for 9-10 weeks, it kind of has its shortcomings. And that's where I find that ultimately you're going to run into some problems. And that's okay. That's fine. That's the nature of every method. Has pros and cons. It doesn't mean it's the worst method in the world. Otherwise, I wouldn't use it for my garden. But it's just got some stuff that you should be aware of, because if you're going to try to start all your seeds, you're going to run into some problems long term. That's just what it is. Another problem with starting long-term seeds is like a tomato, for instance. A tomato, what you'll find is those little lateral roots, or those little aerial roots that form up the stem. A lot of times those aerial roots will kind of jump ship, and they'll come over into the neighboring block, and they'll kind of get all rooted together. It becomes really challenging to separate them when those aerial roots kind of move and navigate through the block. And so that can sometimes happen as well. And so just to be aware of that, obviously, that there are some long-term negatives to using soil blocks. Another benefit, which a lot of people are going to talk about, it's a very obvious one, the cost savings. You can save a ton of money by soil blocking simply because soil blocking is basically, once you buy the soil blocker itself, which is fairly affordable, you can get a 4-block model or an 8-block model right over to MIgardener.com. And they come with a 5-year warranty, so go check them out. I mean, they're definitely a great investment. Once you get that, everything else is basically free. You don't have to have a pot. You don't have to have containers. The blocks are the containers. And so you can save a ton of money by literally just buying one piece of equipment, getting your soil. You can make the soil from just compost, or just buy the perlite. There's very few ingredients needed, very few things needed to make it happen. And it becomes very, very affordable to start your seeds. So that's what a lot of people like about it, is it's just a great way to save some pretty good money. And so I can't speak highly enough about how much money I've been able to save from those quick growing crops. I don't need pots. I just start them right in soil blocks. So you can save a ton of money. And in my experience, honestly, the cost of this soil blocker pays for itself in about 2 to maybe 3 seasons worth, depending on how much you start, obviously. If you start more, you're going to see those cost savings way faster. If you only start a few seedlings, obviously it's just going to take longer, but it will pay for itself for sure over the life of this tool, guaranteed. And the final benefit to soil blocking, and this is something you're not going to hear a lot of people talk about, but I've actually really enjoyed this because it's something that has always bothered me about starting seeds in a whole complete tray. So if you start seeds in a tray like this, all of these cells are connected. If something happens to the center cell, you're sunk. What are you going to do? Tip it upside down, tip the whole tray out, hope you can? No way. It's so cumbersome. It's so cumbersome. Granted, it's very uniform. You can carry it. I love plastic trays as well, but nothing against them, especially high quality ones like Bootstrap Farmer trays. But if something happens, if the seed doesn't germinate, if it falls apart, if you change your mind, whatever, if half the tray is lettuce and half the tray is broccoli, you need to move the broccoli out to the garden sooner, whatever, you've got yourself complete flexibility because the cells are independent of each other. I love it. It's like having a bunch of, depending on which size you go with, it's like having a bunch of little 2-inch pots. You know, oop, this one kind of broke. Okay, I'm gonna take this one here. I could take this one that's not broke. I can move you. I can take this other one that's not broke. I can move you. I can take this other one that's not broke. I can move you. This one here that's broke. Oh boy, what do I do? Well, throw it back. Make yourself a new one. Make yourself a new one, or the seed doesn't germinate. Make yourself a new one. Start the seeds. They're all independent. This is probably, in my opinion, the thing I like the most. You know, there's cost savings. There's less plastic usage. There's, you know, air pruning roots. There's so many great. The fact that they're independent is something that if you like starting with soil blocks, you're gonna love that independence more and more and more the more you start seeds. I can't tell you the amount of times I have been stuck. Wish I had that cellular independence. I don't know the exact term of what I'm gonna call it, but it's a benefit because when something doesn't sprout in the center of your tray, it absolutely sucks. It's so frustrating. And it just gives you that flexibility to just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna pack myself a bunch of seed starting mix. Should add a little more soil. I'm gonna make myself a soil block here, just like this. Make myself a soil block. Put a new seed in. Ta-da! There you go. So, man, what can I say? I love soil blocking. It's a fantastic method. It's a really convenient method. Sure, it has some things that you should be aware of. Sure, it has some shortcomings, as does every single seed starting method. But it's awesome. I highly recommend it. If you do enjoy soil blocking, let me know in the comments box down below. I just really wanted to film this video because we have more and more people talking about soil blocking. Our inbox keeps getting inundated with questions about soil blocking. You know, what soil, how moist, you know, what size block, which we'll talk more maybe about that in a later video, but you know, different size blocks, it just, man, what size block? How long should I grow in them? When should I start in them? What seeds start best in them? Just so many questions about soil blocking that I thought I'd cover at least some of the pros and cons that come from soil blocking. And as the season gets going, maybe we'll do another episode about which seeds I like to start best in soil blocks. And how I know that you want to see that video is through likes. If this video gets at least 3,000 likes, it'll tell me that you want to see that video. So make sure to like this video. If you do want to see a video on which seeds I prefer to start in soil blocks, and we'll do a video on it. We'll do a complete video on it, break it down, talk all about it, and get our hands dirty in another episode. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you all learned something new. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. We'll catch you guys later. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care. Bye.